Welcome back to my whiskey pick of the week. You know I'm Eric the Whiskey Guy, and as always, as usual, and as expected. Oh, am I bringing you a treat this week? This week, I'm very excited. I'm delighted to introduce, ladies and gentlemen, to the Akashi White Oak Japanese whiskey, and I am excited to get into this one. It's been a while since I've done a Japanese whiskey, and I get a lot of feedback when I do videos on them. So I'm excited to see what people think about this one, if they're gonna try it, and how they think it is to them. So I'm excited to hear from you. So we're just gonna dive right on into it. I'm not gonna really go into too much of the details of the history of the whiskey. It's pretty much the same around the board when it comes to Japanese whiskey. But one thing I will say, that you can't really talk Japanese whiskey without mentioning Scotch whiskey. They kind of somewhat go hand in hand. They pretty much they started their foundation off the Scotch. So in one way, it's kind of like you can't talk about the Utah Jazz without Michael Jordan being in the conversation for some reason. Back in the 1990s, you know, the Japanese whiskey, your Karl Malones, your John Stockmans, meaning that they can hold their own, but somehow they just couldn't get past Jordan. So that's pretty much how they stack up, and they kind of got this love-hate relationship. To kind of give you an idea, Scotch, they've been making Scotch over there in Scotland for over 500 years. So for at least 400 years, Japan been hearing yes is good and no you can't make it. So just think about that. They telling you can't make it. At some point you're gonna be like, you know what, I'm gonna make my own. And that's what they've done. So in a way, Japanese whiskey is kind of like the little brother that finally grew up. He went to the gym, and now he's bigger than Big Brother, kind of. So that's kind of where they stand right now. But they still got a long ways to go. But they did it in a short amount of time, which is very impressive. So I'm ready to just jump right into it. Now that Akashi, this comes in around $40. It's 80 proof. Now at one point I wasn't really a big fan on the 80 proof whiskeys. I thought it was just too weak. It doesn't carry a bite to it. But now that I've tried a lot of them and got some under my belt, I kind of like the 80 proof. There's a purpose for everything. This is what I call 80 proof is what I call a flask whiskey. Put it in a flask. When you're drinking beer, you can kind of just sip on it. It's gonna be smooth. It's gonna be mellow. It's gonna get you right. So it's always a place for it. So let's see how it is taste-wise. I got a feeling it's gonna be good. Now, one thing that I don't like, they just give you a metal cap. They give you a metal cap like it's a 40, like you just bought a malt liquor or something at the gas station, and you about to pop it open as soon as you get out the door. That's not where it's at. I can tell you that. But you know what? They may go on they don't have to be flashy. They don't have to have that wow factor to it. It looks like a little humble bottle. It kind of looked like the bottle itself, it's not eye catchy, but it kind of gives you that feeling like they treat this bottle like they do some medicine over there. This looks like a bottle that I have some Robitussin in it or something. Now, with it being 80 proof, you can tell this is real light, but it got a nice little tint to it, nice little color to it. I'm not gonna say it's bad. It smells like a hybrid of a Scotch and Japanese whiskey. It got that butterscotch kind of smell to it, which is kind of like a telling that they go through the same process. So it's kind of like It's kind of like a Scotch whiskey blueprint mixed with the Japanese culture. You know, on paper, that sounds like a great recipe for a cocktail. Ooh, ooh. Like when they say a blended whiskey, this is a true definition of a blended whiskey. You got a little bit of everything in this one. I'm gonna call this one. This is what I'm gonna call Epcot bourbon, Epcot whiskey right here. This got you got a little bit of Scotch. It got a lot of Japanese whiskey in it. It even got a little Jim Beam aftertaste to it. That little taste that kind of just lingers right there in your throat when it's going down. That only Jim Beam knew how to master. It kind of got all three of those components all in one. But it's a smooth whiskey. Like I said, this is one of those ones that I would probably prefer to just sip on it like out of a flask. It's probably great if you want to mix it. It tastes like it'll be real good with 7-Up. I put a little 7-Up, a little ginger ale in it. Drinking it neat, it'll go down too fast, but it's definitely worth trying. I would definitely recommend it in the price range that it's in, $40. I'm gonna give it a 7.5, and the reason I'm gonna give it a 7.5 just because it's all over the place. It doesn't really have I don't think it has like a true identity to it where like you can taste it and be like, oh, okay, now this is Japanese whiskey, or it's kind of like, you know, like if I was doing a blind taste test, I wouldn't know if it came from there, if it came from Kentucky, if it came from Tennessee. It could come from Australia. It's just all over the place. So I think not really having an identity is something they need to work on, but they kind of did they did their research and they took a little bit of what was good here, and they put it in the pot. And usually when you do stuff like that, it does come out good. So yeah, 7.5. That's a good spot for this one. With Japanese whiskey, you can't really go too high. You can't really go too far up as far as levels, because you're gonna get to a point where they just probably be out of your price range. I was looking on ABC, looking at a lot of stuff that they had was not available, but one thing that was available, they had one Japanese whiskey that was $43,000, and of course that was available. So there is definitely levels to it. This would be their entry level, and it's not a bad entry level. I still got some of the Hibiki that I've tried, and that's kind of like on the second tier. So as far as the Japanese whiskeys that I tried, I can tell which ones, I can understand which ones are in the levels that they are in, and for this one to be at their lower end and the smoothness that it has, that's why I give it a 7.5. One thing that, like I said, I wasn't really impressed with was that little lingering aftertaste to it. If they can get rid of that Jim Beam taste to it, then it'll probably go up a little bit. But for right now, it's definitely a great pour. I would recommend doing it with a mixed drink, make a cocktail out of it. I'm sure that'll probably bring out more of the personality of the Japanese whiskey. But this is my take. We're gonna do it all again next week.